Hello viewers, welcome to yet another exciting episode of Computer Science with Kuda Kwashe. Say Kuda Kwashe, your host here at Kuda Entertainment TV. So today we are going to look at methods of data transmission. In the previous video we discussed packet switching, whereby we said this is the process whereby data packets are sent across to the receiving device via various routers. So this is packet switching, and we explained why the data packets would be reordered after they are received, the reasons, right? Some of the reasons have to do with the structure of the data packet we discussed in another video. So if you haven't watched that video, please click in the link, right? There is a link in the description below where you can get the links to all the videos that I've done prior to this one. So today we want to look at methods of data transmission. So we have got 5 main methods of data transmission, which are serial transmission, parallel transmission. We also have got simplex transmission, we have got half duplex as well as full duplex. But in this video, we are mainly going to be focusing on the first 2, and then in the next video, we'll be dealing with the remaining 3. So this is what we have for you today. So our first type of data transmission is called serial data transmission. So with serial data transmission, data is sent 1 bit at a time along a single wire, right? So our data would be sent 1 bit at a time along a single wire. So this is serial transmission. So let me represent that diagrammatically. So here we have device A, which is the sending device, and then device B, which is the receiving device. So let us just label this one sending, then receiving. So remember we said data is sent 1 bit at a time along a single wire. So since this is a sending and receiving device, so we draw our line like this, and then our arrow should be pointing onto the receiving device, right? And then we have got our bits of data being sent here, right, like this. So bits of data are being sent 1 at a time along a single wire. So just to label, we can label it as data is being sent from device A to device B. So this is serial data transmission. So there are advantages and disadvantages that are associated with using serial data transmission. So I will give these advantages and disadvantages when I will be summarizing my presentation. So this is serial data transmission. So now let us look at another type of data transmission, which is parallel, right? Parallel transmission. So one thing that you have to know on these 2 different transmission methods is that they have to do with the wires. That's the most common characteristic between these 2 transmission methods. They have to do with wires. So serial data is sent 1 bit at a time across a single wire, but when it is now parallel data transmission, data will be sent, right? Multiple bits of data will be sent at a time, right? Using various or multiple wires. So that's the difference between serial and parallel. So let me implement the serial data transmission, the parallel, sorry. Right, so this is our device A, which is the sending device, and we also have our device B, which is the receiving device. that's the receiving. So data will be sent across using multiple wires. In this case, multiple wires, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Right? So we can have bit 0, bit 1, bit 1, bit 0, bit 0, bit 1, here 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, another set here. Right, so this is parallel transmission. So as you can see here, multiple bits are being sent across, using multiple wires. In this case, we've got 8 wires, but on serial we only had 1 wires. So that's the main difference between serial transmission and parallel data transmission. So parallel data transmission, this is a type of transmission where multiple bits of data are sent simultaneously using various wires or on multiple wires from the sending device to the receiving device. There are also advantages and disadvantages which are associated with this type of data transmission. So I'm going to summarize the advantages and disadvantages. You can come up with the diagrams to represent serial data transmission and parallel data transmission. So let us look at the advantages and disadvantages of each of these two methods. So the first one being a serial data transmission, the biggest advantage of this one is that since data will be sent in bits across a single wire, it means there are low or less likely chances of the data being skewed when it is received at the receiving device. So that's the biggest advantage of it, right? And again, we can use this type of method over a long distance, right? So it's applicable when you want to transmit data on long distances or across long distances. So that's the biggest one of the advantages as well. And again, it is cheaper to implement, right? It is cheaper to implement and also easier to troubleshoot and diagnosing faults. And the other side, which are the cons, the disadvantages, since you have to send 1 bit of data at a time, it means it will take more time to transmit data. Let's say you've got an enormous amount of data that you want to transmit across devices. It means when you're using serial transmission, it will take more time for you to transmit this data, right? That's the disadvantage that it has. And what else? You can look at other disadvantages, but to add on the advantage again, there are less chance. In fact, there are less chances of interference on single transmission, right? Because you're only using a single wire. So there are very less chances of having any interference. All right. So now, what about the parallel data transmission approach? So with the parallel, the advantage is that since data is sent multiple bits at a time across multiple wires, it therefore means that the time we take to transmit our data would be much less, right? So it will be faster to transmit data using this approach, which is parallel transmission. However, on the other hand, in as much as it is faster, again, there are many chances of data being skewed when it is received. Why? These bits are being sent across multiple wires, so they are likely to be received out of order. So something has to be done so that the data is arranged. So that's the first advantage and disadvantage. Another disadvantage that it has is that there are more chances of interference, right? There are more chances of interference since we are using multiple wires to transmit our data. So there can be interference when the data is being transmitted. So when interference happens, therefore errors would be introduced into the data that is being transmitted. So that's another disadvantage again. And another disadvantage is that it can be expensive to implement as well as to maintain. That's another disadvantage. So again, it also has some advantages other than just being fast, being a fast way of transmitting data. There are also other advantages that it. So that was all for today for this video. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also follow me on my social media platforms. Say Kudakwashe Chikwaya, and also my profile, which is just Kudakwashe Chikwaya. I also post content there, so please follow me on these social media platforms. Again, the most important thing is to subscribe on my YouTube channel, share my videos so that I reach my intended goal, which is 1,000 subscribers by the end of September. So please help me achieve that goal by sharing, subscribing, sharing my videos. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.